President Trump will host Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy today at the White House as he considers whether or not to give the war-torn country Tomahawk missiles ahead of his meeting with Vladimir Putin.
We need Tomahawks for the United States of America, too. We have a lot of them, but we need them. I mean, we can't deplete for our country. So, you know, they're very vital. They're very powerful.
Joining us now is Fox News contributor and former CIA station chief in Moscow, Dan Hoffman. Dan, let's start with Putin and Trump meeting. What is Putin's play here? Is this another stall tactic, yet another stall tactic, or is Putin really starting to finally feel the impact of the declining Russia economy on his ability to fight?
Yeah, I definitely see this more as a stall tactic. There's no indication that Vladimir Putin wants to pursue peace. And in fact, what I think that scares him the most is that the United States historically has been the arsenal for democracy. And what Putin wants to do is ensure that as little military assistance to Ukraine is provided from the United States as possible. And that's why Putin has proposed this summit in Budapest, of all places. Putin is an indicted war criminal, and he'll be traveling to a NATO member country for this meeting, and he hopes to delay the provision of those long-range missiles, which could target Russia's launch sites for the artillery that Russia has been using to strike Ukraine's infrastructure and innocent civilians.
Yeah, and on that front, clearly that's one of the big questions on the table today over these Tomahawk missiles, which do have the capacity to strike deep inside Russia, and whether or not President Trump is going to finally give Ukraine what it wants. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, it looks as though President Trump is going to hold on providing the Tomahawk missiles. Look, Russia's mounted a pretty serious campaign to accomplish that objective. There have been bellicose threats about rupturing the U.S.-Russia relationship and the risk of escalation if the Tomahawks were provided. Meanwhile, a hybrid war where Russia is violating airspace for NATO members with drones, and in the case of Estonia, with MiG fighters. But at the same time, a charm offensive where President Putin's office has been in touch with the First Lady and resulted in the release of 8, albeit out of 20,000 Russians kidnapped Ukrainian children. And Russia's the head of their investment fund, Kirill Dmitriev, has been touting the potential for economic projects, including an undersea tunnel between Alaska and Russia. And then most recently, the release of the JFK files to a congresswoman in the United States. So this has been Putin's objective from the start, to carry on his barbaric war and ensure the United States doesn't provide Ukraine the assistance Ukraine needs to defend themselves.
And finally, Dan, President Trump recently said that India has agreed to stop buying oil from Russia. How much of an impact will that have on the Russian economy and overall war?
I think that's an excellent development. And look, there are two prongs here. One is to give Ukraine the military assistance. The other is this slow burn on Russia's unbalanced wartime economy. And President Trump is keeping up the pressure on Russia's economy, and that's a good thing. I just don't think we'll be able to accomplish our strategic objective of stopping the war without increasing the pain on Russia's military. Right now, Russia is able to carry on their offensive in spite of the fact that their economy is in bad shape. They are relying increasingly on China to export their hydrocarbons and for dual-use military items that they're using for their war machine.
Yeah, we've been talking about the Russian economy declining for a while now, but to your point, it still hasn't had the endgame impact of ending the war. We shall see. Dan Hoffman, as always, a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.